Greetings, guys. This is Mr. J, and this is another episode of Fanboy Junction.
Hey, what's up, man? It's your man D from Station GDX.
And this is Mr. J, of course. We're doing a very special Fanboy Junction. Again, we've got, Demarcus here as a guest host. We've got two subjects we're going to try and cover. We're going to start with one, and if it goes too long, we're just gonna stick with that one, and then maybe we'll do the other one another time.
Yeah.
I know I've said recently I've been trying to stick with a 10-minute marker for my episodes, but I can tell you that when it's DeMarcus and I or any other co-host, if I get more co-hosts, that's pretty much out the window. The last one we did was almost an hour, so we're gonna try and keep it that it doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. If we go longer than 20 minutes on a single subject, then we probably be like, all right, we'll talk about the other one later. But for now, we're going to talk about, this is something that DeMarcus and I have discussed in the past, so I'm not going to drop this on him like, oh, guess what, we're going to talk about this. So we are going to be talking about, recently, I can't say recently, but within the past year, there's been talks about Michael B. Jordan playing the Human Torch,
Yep.
which means he's traditionally been white. He's been black, or he would be black, obviously, because Michael B. Jordan is black. Of course, you've had Michael Clark Duncan, who was the Kingpin. Some people cried about that. There were rumors about possibly, why is his name suddenly escaped me for Lex Luthor?
Denzel.
Yeah, Denzel Washington being Lex Luthor. People kind of going about. So we're going to discuss kind of, in our opinions, what should be the rules for switching the race of a character. So I will go ahead and let DeMarcus kind of start. Do you have any characters that you feel you just can't switch the race of? I guess for me, let me try this. For me, there are certain characters that their race makes the character. It's very important for their race to be what it is because it's part of the character's origin or part of the character, what makes the character who he is.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, real quick, my first one, of course, is Captain America. Captain America can't be black.
Yeah, he's race locked. That's what I call it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's race locked. And not because a black man can't be a symbol of, freedom or whatever, but Captain America is from the 40s. He was in World War II.
Yep.
At that time, for them to pay for him and do everything they did to him to make him Captain America, they would have never done that with a black man or an Asian man or a Mexican man. It had to be super white bread, blue-eyed, blonde-haired kind of guy.
Yeah. Because he was like, as far as the propaganda posters go, like he was the face of America in the Marvel Universe. So, yeah, I don't think they were in the 40s. They weren't gonna have a brother in that position. But what was cool about the Captain America thing is, they had a whole miniseries. They spun that out of that idea, with Captain America Truth. So, they kind of retconned Isaiah Bradley as the first Captain America, and it showed all the stuff that he went through prior to Steve Rogers, and that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, because correct if I'm wrong, but the basis of that was that they tried the serum out on like some black soldiers to see if it would work, and then when it was successful, then they tried it on Steve Rogers.
Yeah. Because that was the thought. There was no way in hell that they were gonna try something out so dangerous. The white guy first, and I thought that was cool. It was a really cool statement. They caught a little flack for it, but it was a really powerful thing. And so with Captain America, yeah, I agree with that. In the 40s, yeah, there's no way. There's no way he could have been black in the 40s. So yeah, Captain America is definitely it.
Now, what about you? What other character do you think you're as you called it? Would you say racial locked?
Yeah, race locked.
Race locked.
Now this is funny. I'm going to say Superman. Oh, traitor! Why do I say Superman? you know, for all other intents and purposes, it wouldn't matter. But Superman's power levels, there's no way that the DC universe would like allow him to fly around freely, especially like in Man of Steel when he like kind of declared his independence. You know, like you're not going to control me. Mm-mm. There's no way.
Well, for me, we talked about this even in his origin. Like, if he landed and he was a black baby, and Martha and whatever Pa Kent found him, how yeah, they'd be like, well, we could adapt him, but I mean, what you know, does one of us have a black cousin?
Yeah, like, let's send him to Dakota City. The milestone characters.
Yeah, and that's kind of like I think that's a good point. Is that between his origin and just even being raised, and you know, I'm half Mexican, and even though for the most part I blend, so I don't have to worry about it. There have been times in an odd way I've dealt with racism.
Yeah.
Be it that somebody doesn't know I'm Mexican and they say stuff about Mexican people, or you know, just even some personal things I'm dealing with even today because of my background. So I can even understand more so for you growing up or a black man growing up. They're not going to grow up and be like, yeah, American way's the right way because I've been treated great this whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agree, disagree?
Yeah, dude would have some serious problems too, because he, you know, like let's say Superman was black growing up in Smallville. Come on, man. I've been to like a lot of those small towns. That stuff is like scary sometimes. And then he finds out he's an alien. He'd be like the most messed up brother in the universe. But I gotta skip to another one because this just hit me. Because this is always used as a rebuttal by those who want their heroes to be traditional. And it's, well, what if they cast Black Panther as a white guy? So I'd say Black Panther definitely. You know, he's gotta be black, man. I mean, come on. So I think Black Panther is definitely a race like character. I guess if Panther's white, then he's the Phantom. But
yeah. Well, and the only thing with Black Panther, and this is me, and I'm not saying he's not racially locked. I think he is race locked. But to go with Black Panther as your argument, I kind of feel like, well, he's from the African country of Wakanda, where they're all like I don't think it's one of those things where I think like I guess for me like I'm thinking about North American characters.
Yeah.
You know, obviously if you have Sunfire, is that what that guy's name is? What's that guy from X-Men, the Japanese guy? Is it Sunfire? Yeah, obviously the mutant from Japan is Japanese.
Yeah,
That's kind of a no-brainer. So yeah, you're right in that Black Panther, of course, he's from the African country of Wakanda. So even though I think that country's made up, the point is that he's an African character. He's going to be African and not African American. He's African.
Well, that right there, you made a good point, and that just kind of speaks to the stupidity of racists.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that thing is funny. I like that buzzword, traditional. They use that a lot, and it's like, just own it.
Yeah, well, and I think too is the thing that I've kind of had that we've talked about and I've talked about with other people is that most of these comic book characters were made in the 40s and 50s. I mean, you really think about it, especially with all the movies that have come out recently. We'll stick with Marvel, DC. Let's not go into independent films. We'll just stick mainly with Marvel and DC. I mean, truly, honestly, DC's only 3 characters deep into their movies.
Yeah.
They've done a Superman movie, they've done a Green Lantern movie, and they've done a Batman movie. Yeah. All 3 of those characters are traditionally white. But they were also created back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, where everything was white bread.
Yeah.
Same with Marvel, is that you've got, Fantastic Four, you've got all the Avengers. I mean, they were all created in that time where everything was white. And I think that that's one of those things where, I mean, if you go by traditionally, yes, they're all white now because everything was white then. they haven't got into the, like Power Man, who was the first black character to have his own comic book series.
Yeah.
Black Panther. I mean, there's so many characters that have been created from the 70s forward that are different races that just haven't even had time to be on film.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think definitely the 70s, that was like the explosion of black characters. Because I think black culture was, a little bit more mainstream around then. Because, I fault some of the creators a little bit, but at the same time, it's like, man, I mean, a lot of these guys were like in their, in the white communities and everything. They didn't really, there wasn't a lot of integration and everything back then. So, the racism was kind of systemic, and, they couldn't really go out and venture out, so but now it's no excuse. So
yeah, and that's why I said, when they were talking about recasting Batman and they were going to make him older, I kept thinking Idris Elba. He'd be perfect. He's not to be no homo. He's a good-looking guy. He's got the build.
Oh, we just got in trouble for that one.
But he's also got he's got the acting chops. To me, and I won't go too much attention, but Batman should be just an imposing dude, and he would pull it off. But everybody's like, oh, Batman can't be black. Well, why not?
Yeah.
There's no reason Batman couldn't be black. If you're redoing it now, that means that he was a child in the 80s, because let's not forget, we're not exactly young.
Yeah.
So he'd be a child in the 80s. Black people could be rich in the 80s,
But what's so messed up is they'd probably change. They would probably change his parents' occupation to entertainment or something, man.
Yeah. Beyonce and Jay-Z were walking down the street and they got shot. And their son became Batman. Write that down real quick. Start working on the sketches.
A pencil.
But yeah, I think that's the thing, is that people don't think about that. Is that the whole thing of traditional, it's because they were created so long ago. Because even Star Wars, I'm sure if they redid it now and they rebooted those movies, they wouldn't be all white people, or Lando Calrissian would be in the first movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the only other character for me that I feel like is racial locked or race locked is Power Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Power Man was, to me, that's just a slap in the face. You take the first black or African American superhero who had his own title, and then you cast him as a white guy. Or The Rock. The Rock is not black. The Rock is not black.
Oh, controversy.
I said it. You know why he's not black? If you want to yell at me afterwards, you can yell at me. There's one reason why he's not black. Okay? Because The Rock had a white girlfriend in Walking Tall.
Wow.
And when he was in GIJoe, that's the first time he's ever actually played a black character. Because before that, he had a white girlfriend. The most famous black man in the world is Will Smith, and he has never had a white girlfriend. Even in the movie where it was a romantic comedy, they stuck him with a Mexican chick. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's that's a strong argument right there.
So that's why I say The Rock cannot be Power Man. He is not, and I mean, I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just saying that if you look through history, or just through films, unless the movie's about a black man and a white girl being together, or it's about that, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, because even the Pelican Brief, I think in the book, I think those characters were romantically together, but they didn't let Denzel and Julia Roberts get together in the movie. So
yeah, and then that movie where Wesley Snipes gets with Isabella Rossellini, was that the one? Or I don't know. He gets it with an Italian girl, but the movie was about the racism there, and
their downfall.
Yeah, I think One Night Stand he was with a white girl, but then it caused all kinds of problems. It's never. I'm just saying that. The point is.
Even worse. Will Smith and Hancock, they became physically weak when they were together. Come on, people.
Exactly.
What are you saying here? But, Yeah. I
As I was told, you don't mix bloodlines. It weakens the strand. I was told that by somebody who was offended by the fact that Anyway, I'm not getting into it. Point being that's I've been told that.
much respect to The Rock, though, represent for the black and Samoan communities, though.
Yes, yeah, I'm glad that 15 years into his movie career, he finally admitted it.
Not giving him a break, man. Come on.
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
My ideal Power Man is Terry Crews, but he actually went and said no, he didn't want to do it, which was that kind of sucked.
Well, I think because he was such a blaxploitation character initially.
Yeah.
When he was popular, because it's kind of funny because if you even look at the old like ads and posters and calendars and stuff of Marvel during the 80s, Power Man and Iron Fist were very prevalent. And then all of a sudden, Power Man just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not in anything. He doesn't even have a own title. And then it wasn't until he got resurrected for that the Alias series with Jessica Jones. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, it was Alias. Well, first he had his Marvel Max series, but that was just so dreadful and just offensive. Yeah, I'd say the real Luke Cage comeback was definitely an Alias series. Yeah.
And then since then, he's kind of become more of a forefront character, so people don't even know. People who you know, unlike us, grow up and stop reading comics. They don't know that the Power Man is a completely different character, and I bet you that's why Terry Crews is not willing to do it, because he's like, well, I don't want to be a blaxploitation character.
Yeah, he talked about like it was a failed character or whatever, and he'd like to make his own. I'm just like, no, I mean that'd be cool if you wanted to make your own, but I've seen celebrities and the end result of making their own superheroes and stuff. It doesn't turn out well, so.
Yeah, so all that to say, Michael B. Jordan could be the Human Torch. Now, if you make him the Human Torch, that means you got to make, because Human Torch and Invisible Girl are brother and sister. That means you got to make Invisible Girl black. You
got two angles from that. You can either go with the Storm family are black, or you can go with the Storm they adopted one or the other. Most likely adopted Johnny, and that would take too much explanation. And I don't know, it's funny to me, people go so crazy over the Fantastic Four, all these announcements, but no one really gives a crap about them until someone mentions a racial change or whatever. It's the weirdest thing. The Fantastic Four is all right, but I don't really care a whole bunch about it. They could be anything, I don't care about Fantastic Four too much. I mean, none of them specifically have something that makes them have to be black or white to me, so I don't care,
Yeah, plus last time they did it, the Sue Storm was Mexican.
Yeah. And John Byrne had something.
Contacts and dire hair, she still looks Mexican. I'm sorry. Mexican. And I didn't have a problem. I thought she was great. The only problem I had with the previous as far as casting was I just thought with Jessica Alba being so young and Ewan Grufford being so not old but definitely the age gap there, it was worse than Jean Grey and Cyclops and the X-Men. Like the gap just seemed a little awkward to me.
Well, but the funny thing is, though, in the book, Reed Richards is considerably older than she is. I mean, but I know it comes across weird in live action, though. But I remember Reed was in college and he met Sue when she was 12. So.
Well, no, and I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, they tried to portray her as his equal.
Oh yeah, and they even tried to do like some of the motherly lines, just kind of. Girl, you're younger than ever. You're the youngest one on the team. You're trying to be motherly. What the hell is that?
Yeah. Don't talk to Captain America like that.
Yeah. That dude's been in a lot of comic book movies.
He's got the most. He's done, I think, 7. Chris Evans has done 7. He was Human Torch. He was in Scott Pilgrim. He's been Captain America. He was the voice. He was in. We say Push. I put Push in there because Push it's a comic book.
Snowpiercer, that new one.
Do what?
The Snowpiercer. That's based on a manga.
Okay, and then the Losers. He was in the Losers.
Yep.
And did I say the voice of Casey Jones and the Turtles? Or did I count that
Oh,
twice?
he's the voice of Casey Jones in the Turtles.
In the TMNT digital CGI movie that came out, he was the voice of Casey Jones.
Oh, okay. I'm like way behind. I didn't even know that. That's embarrassing.
I live on IMDb. That's all it is. So all that to say that yes, Lex Luthor can be black. In fact, if you watch the first several episodes of the Superman cartoon, I think they were going to make him black.
hmm
He
hmm
looked very much so, and then it's kind of like they're like, maybe we should pull it back. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, Lex Luthor. Yeah, I didn't care. Who Jesse Eisenberg got cast recently, and
Sorry.
it was funny because I remember putting it on Facebook and I reacted like, "What? Somebody better be trolling." But it wasn't because I didn't think he could do it, because I think he can do it, even though we haven't seen a whole bunch of stuff from him that leans towards Lex Luthor. He seems like he can do it, but I was just more excited at the prospect of Denzel doing it, because that'd be like the best acted just the best acted character in a comic movie. Period, man. He would have held it down. He would have killed it, but. Oh well, but they said he might be considered for John Stewart Green Lantern, so who knows?
Well, and yeah, well, and the other thing too is somebody brought up is that, and I mean, Denzel's not exactly young, so I don't know
Yeah,
if you can hinge him on a character they're going to want to do several movies with. I
Michael
would think, but do what?
Michael J. White, damn it, come on,
Yeah,
we
there you
need.
go. A Lex Luthor that can actually stand toe to toe with Batman. How fun would that be?
That would be dope. That would be pretty cool.
So yeah, so the whole point of what we're saying is that really, honestly, most characters out there, it doesn't matter. Batman can be black. All the Fantastic Four can be black.
hmm
Could Thor be black? Well, if Heldum grabbed the hammer, maybe. I mean,
Yeah, they let a horse be Thor for a while. Damn it, a horse alien.
and a frog. Thor was a frog for a while. So yeah, I think for me there are few characters. For me, Superman, Captain America, Power Man. Again, I'm going with the whole North American combo characters. Those
Mhm.
three characters have to stay their race. Every other character is open. They could be anything.
Yeah.
You really could. I mean, She-Hulk could be black. Hulk could be black. You know,
If Hulk was black, he'd be Hulk all the time.
yeah, exactly.
Someone just says some stupid crap to him. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. You just cast Terry Crews as the whole time. Did you turn into the Hulk? I can't tell.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, what I have to say to people who just get all up in arms about this stuff, because it's funny yet it's kind of sad, because they're like, just create a new character, and then it's like, then you're gonna complain about them creating a new character when other characters haven't been put in movies yet, and then it's like, well, just use a black character. Well, in a lot of these major storylines of a lot of these characters, a lot of these, that they're trying to turn into movies, there weren't really any black characters to put in there. And then you'd probably complain about if they just made up a black character and just threw them in there. So, don't complain about non-essential characters or just supporting characters being changed. Like Perry White. I remember when Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White got announced, they just lost their minds over, oh, it's going to ruin a movie, it's going to ruin a movie. And then in the end, more people had a problem with Superman killing Zod. Spoilers, but you should have seen the damn movie by now. So I mean, I think honestly, that's what I have to say to those people. It's like, does it really matter? Like you said, I mean, does it really matter? I mean, those core three are, very few characters, unless it's Crossbones, some Red Skulls, or race or something is, nah. Come on, man. And I thought, comic fans are supposed to be forward thinking and all that. So what the hell?
Yeah, no, I think I completely agree. You definitely, a lot of those characters are about being the outsider. They can be anybody.
Yeah.
And not to try and advertise our own stuff, but we've got ours, and we're making sure everything's represented. Something created now I would say a character created now, and then it's white bread. That's kind of weird. Like something like Invincible. Invincible's not as bad That's an Image comic, and like it's across the board, all over. You know, there's characters from all over the place. But like when you look, I don't want to be this way, but if you look at the Image comics, and there's like 7 different titles that started that thing, and there's only 2 black guys, and that was in the 90s. That's white bread, right?
Yeah.
Like Chapel and Spawn, that was it. Every other character in those first 7 titles were white.
You know, the weird thing is, though, you know, now, especially nowadays, I kind of look at the background of the creator, and you know, I try not to. I try not to take offense to stuff like that. You know, I have to look at the background of the creator and see, you know, how they came up, and, you know, and because you know, there's nothing worse than like not having, you know, multicultural characters, than someone trying to be PC and putting them in there, and all they know of a certain culture is from TV and movies, and it just comes off really bad.
Yeah, I'm not saying enforce it, but I'm just saying like nowadays with, you know, comics that are being done now, like that for me is kind of like, okay, you know, it doesn't need to be white bread anymore.
Yeah.
You know, something like the Avengers or some of these older characters, yeah, I would love to see a cast different, but at the same time, that's what they are. But nowadays, and I'm not saying like, okay, I've got to insert token black guy like South Park or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to have a representation there, because it's not, and even, you know, like somebody like me, or where you don't have no idea what the race is, and that's just me. I kind of get bothered by that sometimes. I see some of these new comics, and it's just like, wow, really? Like this character is the whole team is still white, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That is weird, and especially in this day and age. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what about characters who might play better a different race? That's it. You know, that's kind of interesting. You know, the funny thing is, there's 2 characters who might play better as a different race, and I mean their original, no alternate universe characters. I always thought Spider-Man would be. It seems like he'd be a brother, and it would work a little better, because just his whole background, man. You just, you know, I mean, come on, man. That's Spider-Man. I mean, we have Miles Morales, but he doesn't face, you know, the stuff that, you know, Peter Parker does. But I mean, that would explain why J. Jonah Jameson is always on his back all the time.
Why he lives in the ghetto, but
Yeah.
the whole ghetto is white. Yeah.
The city doesn't. The city likes him when he helps him out, but doesn't quite trust him. You know?
Yeah. They take the mask off and they go, oh.
Oh. Well, it's funny. There was a little gag in Civil. There was a gag in Civil War after Spider-Man revealed his identity. Because I think the Daily Bugle sued him, and oh, wait a minute, I think I got it all screwed up.
You're talking about when J. Jonah Jameson's in court and he says that he hates him because he's black?
Because he's black, because he had the mask on. Yeah, that was that was hilarious.
He's like, no, that's not true. I don't even know what race he is.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when they did that back with Iron Man in Secret Wars, because at the time during Secret Wars, Rhodey was Iron Man.
That was Rhodey.
And Mr. Fantastic had to repair his armor, and he had to take the arm off, and he's like, oh, hey, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's okay, I just didn't want to tell you guys. And it was just one of those awkward moments. But it does make sense, because you think about it, they probably just assumed at the time, because that's early 80s. But it was just funny, that whole scene of like, oh, hey.
I think he actually went off on somebody, too, on a racial rant. That was weird. That was just kind of fun. That was just kind of funny. They didn't see it coming. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I think that like I said, I still say Batman Black would be awesome. I mean, I think that would be cool. But I mean, other characters, I think that you could. I mean, dude, make Iron Fist Asian. Why not? Let Donnie Yen play him. I don't care if he's too old. Just do it. You know.
That'd be dope. I'd like that, actually.
You know, but I mean, I think that's like stuff like that where I think like, why couldn't they be other races? You know, I mean, you know.
Spider-Man would be cool. Asian too. I mean, that might be actually pretty cool.
Exactly. Who, you know, and not trying to get into the whole nerdy thing, but I mean, who's more out of place than an Asian kid? You know, when you got the whole Asian background of the language barriers, or trying to fit. I mean, I think I think you're right. I think making Spider-Man a different race would add to some of that angst.
Yeah, yeah, because he is one angsty guy, trying to keep it PG-13.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Well, and that's why I like that Ultimate Spider-Man, because I get rid of the angst and just let him have fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, I think we have beat a dead horse.
No more than Facebook and Twitter after the announcements comes out.
Yeah. Point. I think we're in some. I think we're saying is it doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Mm-mm.
Traditional in the comic book is because the character was so long ago. But even traditional, Nick Fury's been white for 60 years, and because the movies became so popular, they changed him to black in the normal Marvel universe.
Oh. It's like one of the worst ways possible, so convoluted. I just wish that, this is just a geeky little rant, I wish that, because they established that some of the Ultimate characters, they can go to other universes, because at one point he went to the Squadron Supreme universe when they rebooted that for a while, Nick Fury did. Rather than go through all that weird change that they did with in the 616, the mainstream Marvel universe, to turn Nick Fury black, they should have just brought Ultimate Nick Fury over. That would have been simple, nice, neat, and cool. I really don't I hate how they did it, but yeah, like you said, I mean, they even changed him black to match the movie, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, part of me that's kind of excited about, if you change a character in the movie, maybe they'll do it in the comic. I mean, I remember Wolverine, his claws used to come out of the back of his hand, and then when the movie did it between his knuckles, all of a sudden in the comics, now it comes out between his knuckles.
Yeah, I've seen that here and there, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's something that would be cool to kind of have, to see movies do stuff like that, and then, oh wait, now we got to change it. Especially with the reboots, with New 52. Yeah, that was one thing I will say I was disappointed with New 52 is, oh, we're going to reboot it, but not really. We're just going to make everybody younger and jerks.
and give them some more Marvel-like 90s image, and Marvel-like costumes, whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna make the movies the costumes easier to make into movie costumes.
Yeah, that's the truth, right? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just a dead horse, man. So
yeah.
That's my opinions, I guess, on this whole stupid thing. I think at the end of the day, man, if you get so worked up and you get so annoyed at fictional characters being changed like that, maybe you need to, reassess a few things up there. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like if it was your mom suddenly changed the race, you should be really, really upset. But if it's the pretend character in a cartoon or a movie that's changed, go get a girlfriend, go do something else, find something else to do, and everything will be fine.
There you go. There you go. So.
All right, well, brother, I hate to do this, but we have gone 35 minutes.
What? 35 minutes, man.
I think we went over our 20, so we're going to just stick with this subject. I think we should just know going forward we're only going to do one subject an episode.
Yeah, this could last like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, because I was about to go into another tangent. I was like, man, no, I think we got to...
And for the second part that we had planned, I guess that'll give us more time to prepare, so...
Yeah, well, all right. So next week, you up for coming back next week?
That'll work, man.
All right.
Maybe I have a better background, too.
All right. So next week, DeMarcus is going to come, and he's going to co-host again, and we're going to give our top 5 science fiction spaceships, which we think our top 5 are, and we're going to do an honorable mention of that's the worst ship ever.
And right before this episode, man already knows mine.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell him his after I'm done, and then, yeah, we're definitely going to have to go, and we'll do that next week. If you guys want, please subscribe to the show, comment below. I'd love to see what your favorite ships are. I already know what my 5 are. DeMarcus already knows what his 4 or 5 are, so you're going to affect our decisions, but I'd love to see what you guys have to say about your favorite spaceships.
Hey, should we plug our thing that we're doing?
Oh, yes. Yeah. The comic book is called Sector. No. What DeMarcus is talking about is that I've been cast and he's been cast in. It's called Two Cobras and a Cup. It is a fan film based on the Cobra villains from the GI Joe universe.
And it's safe for work, contrary to what that title kind of alludes to, or what you know the two. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's not two Cobra soldiers pooping in a cup and eating.
Yeah, it's not gross, man.
Yeah, it is. It is basically two soldier level characters in the break room talking about how they hate their jobs. But DeMarcus is the voice of Destro, and I voice and play Cobra Commander. And I think it's on the third episode. So DeMarcus, your character has actually appeared in front of the camera now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then the next episode is Cobra Commander, and that's when I'll appear. I had a cameo in the first episode as a weird dumb guard who waved a gun around, but yeah, the fourth episode, I think I come in at the end, and then for the rest of the episodes, I think we're both in it. So
80s GI Joe fans, check it out. It's funny. It's funny, and if you like it, enough people watch it, you definitely got a season 2 plan. Matt definitely has a season 2 plan.
Yeah, season 2. All I know for sure is there's gonna be snake eyes and some cool ninja fighting. No.
So check it out.
Yeah, check out the show. I'm going to put a link down here below for Two Cobras in a Cup where you can go to watch it. I'll give you the Facebook page. I will put on the YouTube channel. I also put on DeMarcus's YouTube channel and his page for his customs. And then, of course, you guys can just link up to my page, and we'll go from there.
Thanks.
Yeah, for now, we're signing off. Thanks, guys, for watching the show. Again, subscribe, comment, flame on, whatever you want to do. Other than that, you guys, take care and have a nice one.
Later.
Later.